All right. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. This Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County is now in session. The Honorable Judge Nugent Safety presiding. All persons having business before this court, come nigh, and you shall be heard. God save the United States of America and this honorable court.
Good afternoon, family, friends, guests here, and a very special thank you to all of our friends and honored guests that are here on our live stream under these conditions. We appreciate it. I know Chiaka is so grateful that you all are rolling with the punches during COVID around, 3 or 4 that we're in now. Thank you so much. Welcome to the investiture of the Honorable Chiaka Ihekwaba as County Court Judge of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida. Please remain standing as we ask 2 very special guests to come up and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, her twin children, Paul and Nena, age 14.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. As we continue to remain standing, please welcome former Director of the City of Miami Human Services and retired CEO of Metro Miami Action Plan Trust, Milton Vickers, a dedicated public servant and past member of the Judicial Nominating Commission, who also happens to be a close family friend of the judge. Thank you so much, Mr. Vickers.
Thank you. And being asked to deliver the invocation this morning, I wondered to myself if Chiaka and Ziri had spoken to my mother, who always thought I'd become a minister. And she would mention it to my father, and my father would smile, but as my mother walked out of the room, he would laugh out loud and say, "Anybody but him." Will you bow your heads, please? Wise and loving Father, thank you on behalf of all who gather here today. Thank you for the many abundant blessings. Thank you for life itself, for the measure of health we need to fulfill our calling, for the substance and friendship Thank you for the ability to be involved in useful work. Thank you for the diversity of our people represented here today, as well as diversity of thought, and honor of bearing appropriate responsibilities. Father, bless this jurisdiction, the 11th Judicial Circuit, and the branches that make up the circuit, our judges, both county and circuit court, our state attorney, public defender, the clerk of court, and the administrative office of the courts. Give them the wisdom to administer decisions among conflicting interests and issues of our time. Give them the temperament to address different points of view, a sense of welfare, and true need of your people. A keen thirst for justice and rightness, confidence in all of what's good and fitting. Father, give my judge, my friend, Judge Chiaka Ihekwaba, personal peace in her life and joy in her task. Father, bless those who work in this venue, the bedrock of our democracy. We pray for your blessings, and let your will be done. Amen.
Amen. Everyone, please be seated. I'm going to be introducing some of our special guests that are not just here, but also with us virtually. Carlos Martinez, our public defender, is with us today virtually. Thank you, Carlos. Our state attorney, Madam Catherine Fernandez-Rundle, is here with us in person. On behalf of our regional counsel, Jean Zanobi, we have Harold Hickey, who's the mental health division chief. Thank you, Mr. Hickey. And hold on one second. It's not here. We also have, on behalf of Harvey Rubin, our clerk of courts, we have his director, Doreen Ruggiero, who's with us virtually. Supporting our day-to-day operations with us virtually is our trial court administrator, and Judge Soda used to say her right hand, her left hand, her everything, and now after 6 months, I can tell you she was not lying. Our trial court administrator, Sandy Lonergan, who's with us virtually, and also Pat Gladson, our general counsel. And I'd like to also give a special shout out to our incredible audiovisual team who has been rolling with the punches, and we've been doing all the investitures in the Richard E. Gerstein Justice Building. I'm happy to welcome us back to the Dade County Courthouse, and they've been here setting us up and making sure that everybody can see us on the live stream. And today it's incredibly special because Judge Ihekwaba's parents are with us from Nigeria. So that's probably, one of the most special, it's a very special occasion and something we'll be able to do from here on out, which is wonderful. I also want to give a shout out to Eunice Sigler and Marissa Gavica, our Public Information Officer and Deputy Public Information Officer, also known as the wedding coordinators of investitures. And in the last few months, I don't even know how many we've had. This might be the 7th. If you count the big 6, I don't know, it's like 13. So it's been quite a ride. And some more special guests and VIPs. If I announce your name, please stand up. And out there, some of them are also with us on live stream. And please try and hold your applause to the end. With us from the U.S. District Court, Southern District, we have Judge Rodney Smith, who's also very much an alumni of the circuit bench and of the county bench. So we're happy to have him here with us via live stream. Vicki Mendez, city attorney, via live stream, also former ASA. And Vicki, thank you for being with us virtually. Jose Arrojo, Executive Director of the Miami-Dade Commission on Ethics and Public Trust. Thank you, Jose. Judge Fleur Labrie, via live stream, 3rd DCA judge, but also, again, a proud alum of the circuit and county bench. Sabrina Puglisi. I feel like I don't even need to introduce you at this point, Sabrina. You all know who she is. Diane Karamas, Vice President of the Florida Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers, Miami-Dade Chapter. Is she here in person? I think she's here virtually. Doria Foster Morales, also someone who needs no introduction, past President of the Florida Bar. Nikia Ruffin, who's soon to be an alum of the 11th Judicial Circuit General Counsel's Office, but she is also here as Gwen S. Cherry Black Women Lawyers Association President. Thank you, Nikia. Melba Pearson, President of the, Vice Chair of the American Bar Association, and Criminal Justice Section. I believe she's also president of the National Black Prosecutors Association Foundation, and she's here with us here virtually. Terrell Mathis, is she here? TJ? Yes? You get to wave. She is a former ASA and president of the South Florida chapter of the National Black Prosecutors Association. Travis Randolph, forever president of the Wilkie D. Ferguson Jr. Bar Association, with us here virtually. And Richard Cooper, who's the executive director of the Miami-Dade County League of Cities. He's here with us virtually, always a good friend of the courts. Thank you, Richard. And I think that's it. If your name in any way has not been mentioned and should have been, please let Eunice know, or someone send me a text, and I will try and check it and rectify that. All right. So now for remarks on behalf of the Florida Bar. I've already introduced her, but we'll introduce her again. Dory Foster Morales, an esteemed attorney, great friend of the courts, and former ASA. Welcome, the fabulous Dory Foster Morales.
I'll take it. May it please the court, Chief Justice Safey, Judge Chiaka Ihekwaba, doing the best I can, and all the other judges, of course, here today. It's both my honor and my pleasure to be here on behalf of the Florida Bar. It's now over 108,000 members to come before this court back in this beautiful ceremonial courtroom we're all happy to be in. I'm glad it seems to be safe and secure at this point. To bring greetings on behalf of the Florida Bar in my role as the past president. As past president, I really wanted to personally welcome everyone to the very first investiture of 2022. And to congratulate the judge for being invested today, along with her family, beautiful family, and her friends who are here both personally, in person, and of course virtually. So I have to give a shout out to her parents who are really appearing so far from where we live, Nigeria, but it's good to have them here today as well. It's really just such a significant occasion. We talk about wedding planners. It's a combination between a wedding and a bar mitzvah. So you pick what you're getting today. It's Miami. I guess it could be a quince also. The judge has really been so patient in waiting for this day. Most people apply many times to become a judge, and when they become a judge, they look forward to this day because it's such a really a fun happening for everyone to celebrate such an amazing accomplishment. And of course, with the pandemic, she was patient. She waited 18 months since Governor DeSantis had made the great selection to appoint her to the county court bench to have today. So it really is such a sort of a heartfelt pleasure to be here. I personally met the judge really around the lockdown. It's really a kind of a cruddy time to be appointed because usually everyone comes up and you start meeting people and we see people downtown and we're walking around and we see you at lunch. And there was none of that because, society shut down. And so it didn't make your appointment any less special or wonderful, but it was hard to really celebrate it. So when things really began to reopen finally, there was all these false starts. I guess we're in another false start. I went to the Miami-Dade County Bar Association. It was such a pleasure to be there for the gala installation in June. That's when the judge and I first really met and spoke and got to know one another a little bit better. And I learned, of course, that she was from Nigeria, and that just made me so happy because I love the fact that Miami is such an incredible melting pot of so many different places, and that's just another example of how everyone sort of fits right into that. I always say when I go somewhere else, I go to these other communities I'm like, everyone looks the same, they're all so white, what's going on here? When you're in Miami, you're like, okay, everyone's different, and I love that. And I was raised in Miami Beach, which is a long way from Nigeria, but I also learned, nevertheless, that we did have a shared history, which is always so nice about Miami. It's always 2 degrees of separation. Of course, I learned that we had the shared history of the Kathy Rundle, Miami-Dade County State Attorney's Office, where she spent so many years. And of course, we both have husbands that are devoted to public service, so I guess I can apologize on behalf of your husband. It's a rough road, but we appreciate, of course, the work that he has done, and I also learned that our husbands did actually know each other. I think he rejected an offer or something my husband made him. I can't imagine he would do that. But Jimmy thinks he's the world of him, so I know he's doing great things at the city of Miami. I also know that the judge is already doing a really fantastic job at the county court, presiding over matters where really, as we all know, it's the people's court where most people have their only contact with the system. So when I met and we spoke and when I learned about what she was doing, it was clear to me that this judge is gracious, she's open, she's honest, she's hardworking, and she's a mother of 5, which is like a whole nother world of how do you do that, and obviously a devoted wife. So she's really someone we can all be proud of and know will serve our community so well on the bench. So in closing, of course, Judge, I'm so proud to be here. On behalf of all the lawyers in the state of Florida, congratulations, and really thank you. Really thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of the bar. It really pleases me.
Thank you so much, Dory. Now for remarks on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association, we have the president of the organization, another distinguished attorney, also an alum of the REGJB, like the rest of us. And we welcome our fabulous Sabrina Puglisi.
Thank you, Chief Judge Safey, Judge Ihekwaba, judges, family, and friends. I remember meeting Chiaka, it was probably about 2003 or 4, when we were assigned to Judge Maria Dennis's courtroom in the criminal courthouse. And like most PDs and state attorneys, when you get assigned to a courtroom, you're trying to get the lay of the land, try to find out who are these state attorneys, are they nice, what are they like? And I remember very quickly feeling that Chiaka was somebody that was kind. She wasn't difficult, but she would definitely be firm in what she was offering. Sometimes, I didn't like the plea offer she was offering, but for some reason, I just couldn't be mad at her because she's just so darn nice. And she would smile at you and be like, how are you? How's your family? And she really was so respectful to everybody, including the defendants in a case. And her good friend from law school, former Assistant Public Defender Karen Baez, said, Chiaka is one of the most amazing human beings I've had the pleasure of knowing. She is tough as nails, but at the same time, she is soft and mushy inside. She will not back down from a fight if it means fighting for what's right. She's not afraid to speak the truth and take you out of your comfort zone in order to make you thrive. At the same time, she is the voice of comfort and grace when I needed it the most. She leaves a print in everyone she touches and everything she does. Chiaka has been really a lifelong public servant, and she worked as an assistant state attorney for many years. And I asked one of her former colleagues and friend, Mari Jimenez, could she give me some thoughts on Chiaka? How was she? She said, there were a lot of things. I'm only going to pick the appropriate ones. But she said that, she was oftentimes one of the first ones into the office and one of the last ones to leave. And, for the younger ASAs, they were like her kids. She would stay late and help them to make sure they were ready for court the next day. And one of the things that stuck out, she said when she was division chief, if she disagreed with the argument of opposing counsel or maybe even the judge, she would start to cough. And, not unheard of that Judge De La O would say, Miss Ihekwaba, do you need a cough drop? She also talks about how, though, her job didn't finish. Like so many people, when you finish at the end of a long day of work, you go home and you get to relax. Well, not Chiaka, because she had 5 kids to go home to. And, all of us mothers know what it's like when, you get the call in the middle of the week to have to go get a poster board that you have to give the very next day for some reason. But she would do that. She would go get those poster boards. She would then go home, help her kids with their homework. She would make dinner. And you know what? She did the most important job to her, which was being a mother, being the best mother that she could be, which is most important. Judge Ihekwaba was appointed in June of 2020, and so she's already had some time on the bench, and one of her friends and colleagues, Judge Ayanna Harris, also signed to the North Dade Justice Center, said to me, "I've known Chiaka for years, but as new county civil judges, we formed a special bond because we often sit down to figure out issues together. She's a real team player, and she's also humble and hardworking, which makes her a great judge. Our bench is very lucky to have her, especially those of us in North Dade." Today, I say to the citizens of Miami-Dade County that we are very lucky to have Judge Chiaka Ihekwaba. She is a dedicated public servant. She is hardworking, intelligent, kind, and respectful. And so on behalf of the Miami-Dade Bar Association, I'm so very honored to give this Bible to my good friend, Judge Chiaka Ihekwaba.
Thank you so much, Sabrina. I neglected to mention that we also have here with us today City of Miami Commission Chair Christine King. There she is. And former Commissioner Mark Sarnoff. Thank you so much. We also have some plaques here commemorating the special day from the Conference of County Court Judges. I know, Chuck, after years of seeing these on judges' desks, and then you had to wait a year and a half for yours, here it is, the desk plate, and from the Cuban American Bar Association, also a plaque from them. And I think there's some others that are going to be on their way to you from, I believe, FACDL, and that's because of COVID, so we'll getting that soon. You'll have stuff to hang up on your walls. All right, now for personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family. I was so excited to be able to welcome this next person here because he was somebody that I came to rely on very much when I was admin judge in criminal, and I know all of you who've worked in the REGJB missed him when he left, but former chief at the state attorney's office and now executive director of the Miami-Dade Commission on Ethics and Public Trust, Jose Rojo.
Good afternoon. Protocol is that I can take my mask off, I think. So, good afternoon. May it please the court, Chief Judge Safie, Judge Ihekwaba, members of the judiciary, friends and family of Judge Ihekwaba. By the way, I'm just incredibly tickled to see the two of you sitting up there, if I may. My name is Jose Rojo, and I'm humbled and privileged to have been asked by Judge Ihekwaba to speak on her behalf this afternoon. And so, as a predicate to my comments, I've been to investitures over the years, and there's usually a time in the program, maybe now, when someone witty and funny gets up to say witty and funny things. And I'm not sure that I've ever been particularly witty or funny. And so rather than failed attempts at humor this afternoon, what I'd like to do is speak to you from the heart and tell you about my observations of my dear friend, Judge Ihekwaba, from the many, many years that we worked together at the State Attorney's Office. And also, if I can, as kind of a point of privilege, to share with you my perspective as a lawyer who's been practicing in this town for 34 years and has stood at the podium as a prosecutor and went away from government as a civil litigator and a couple of times as an SAPD also. And just share with you what, from my observations of her and my perspective as a judge, why I think that her life experiences have made her and will continue to make her such an incredibly, very, very fine addition to an already very, very fine bench that we're lucky to have in this community. And so I understand that we're living in kind of a difficult time right now, right? And so significant numbers of folks in our nation, are questioning the motivation and efficiency of those of us that are still in government. And so I understand that perhaps more than any other time in our lives, it's important for members of our judiciary, to apply the law, similarly to similarly situated parties and similar fact situations, right? And to do that every day and to do that over time. But at the same time, I think it would be foolish to think that judges don't bring their lifetime of personal experiences and the wisdom that comes from those personal experiences to the bench. And I, for one, believe that they should. And so, as we whittle down from the macro to the micro and, leave behind, kind of these lofty thoughts and really think of what happens in our trial courts, in our county courts, and our circuit courts day to day, and the interaction between members of the judiciary with litigants and with practitioners and with juries and witnesses, I also believe not only it is important for a judge to bring the wealth of her personal life experiences to the bench, but also that a judge knows the community that she's been appointed or ultimately elected to serve. I think that's equally very important. And so in this community where I've practiced my whole life and where a lot of you have practiced your whole lives and continue to serve on the bench, I think that knowing our community means understanding the struggles that come from being an immigrant, being a person of color, and being a working mother to 5 children and working day in and day out. And I think that with each one of these identities, you become a better judge in this community, and on that point, my friend's life experiences, I think, are going to serve her very well on the bench. And so like many in our community, in some fashion, perhaps the majority of us, Chiaka's an immigrant, you heard earlier. And she's, of course, the latest and greatest example of what hard work and perseverance that creates immigrant success stories in our community and in our nation. Chiaka hails from a Nigerian family, and before she came to the U.S., she lived both in England and in Nigeria. When she got here with her husband, she reminded me a couple of days ago over coffee and tea that she didn't know anyone here, not one person. Like perhaps the parents of others that are in this courtroom, even though she had completed her legal education and was working in London and studying to qualify as a barrister, when she came to the U.S., she had to, retrain all over again, and had to go back to law school. Like many, she obviously speaks our language, which is the official language of Nigeria, right? English. But as I learned, and I hope I don't mispronounce this, she also speaks Igbo. And I know that because I asked her to translate in that language a couple of times at the state attorney's office, which in and of itself is a testament to the diversity of our community. Her mother and father, sir, doctor, ma'am, whom she equally adores, respects, and admires. Like many in our community, her family her parents are far away in a different country, and she's experienced extended separations from them and experienced the concern and at times the pain and the helplessness that are felt by those of us that have family members living through unforeseen difficulties and dangers in other nations far from our homes. And as such, like the hundreds of thousands of immigrants in our communities, Cubans, Haitians, folks from Central and South America, folks from Africa, folks from all over the place, many of whom are going to find their way into her courtroom, particularly in county court, right? The people's court. As an immigrant herself, she will be sensitive to the challenges of separation, of starting anew, of being new in a country, new to a community, new to a language, new to a culture, because she herself is a first-generation immigrant and has lived a life. She understands the immigrant community, and she's going to be sensitive to the unique needs of a significant percentage of our community. When Chiaka and I used to work together at the state attorney's office, and those of you that were with us on the second floor, the best floor, second only to the fourth floor, of course, the best floor. Got to be careful. Chiaka used to tell me in the way that only Chiaka can say, remember that I am the real African American woman on this floor. And she is. And Chiaka is a woman, and she's a woman of color, and she's black, and she's African, and she is raising 5 children in this community and in this nation, including a teenage young son who she's very proud of, and who, before you know it, is going to be living on his own away from college as a young man in our country. And so while we have made enormous advances in our country, I think we have to recognize, particularly those that have worked in the criminal justice system, and for the judges that preside on the criminal bench, and really for those of us, the judges that preside over dependency, that being a person of color in this nation brings a litany of daily and often life-altering challenges. And I think because Chiaka is a woman of color, because she is raising her children in this country, in her courtroom, Judge Ihekwaba is likewise going to be sensitive to the unique issues that face this particular population in our community. So So as I said, Chiaka is the very, very proud mother to 5 children, as we used to kid around, enough to field her own basketball team. Because from every conversation that I have with her, at the end of the conversation, she will have told me what grade each one of her children is in, where they are in college, what majors they've completed, what degrees they've earned, and what they're going to be doing soon after they're done with their degrees. She believe me, right? So she also understands the pressures of caring and providing for 5 children with her spouse and an extended family. And so perhaps she's in a different position today, like maybe some of the rest of us are also. But I clearly remember our conversations when she was a young prosecutor, and unfortunately, earning a young prosecutor's salary. And her spouse, who was an engineer, was also new to government work at the time. And how she used to drive around in an old minivan, and how she used to come back and tell me how, going to the movies and for a meal afterwards for the family of 7 was enough at the time to put a dent into family resources. And how, when she needed new tires for the tired minivan, she had to wait for the end of the month. Those of us that worked as SAPDs or as ASAs understand what that means. Had to wait for the end of the month for payday financial assessments. And so I think to the many mothers and fathers who will appear in her courtroom in county court, who are struggling to provide for their children, juggling jobs and schedules and everything else that comes with being a good parent in a tough spot. You will have a judge presiding over your case that gets it because she lived it. So finally, and some of my colleagues have already mentioned this, and it would be remiss if I didn't mention it myself, Chiaka possesses the work ethic that many first-generation immigrants have always enriched our nation and community with. One of my best memories of the years that we worked together in the evenings was when support staff had gone home for the day. A lot of the assistants had gone home for the day also. And I used to walk down the hall and to check in on my lawyers that were in trial or lawyers that had significant motions the next day. And there she was, sitting at her desk in the evening, working on her cases, first as a line assistant, and later when she moved into leadership in our office, and she was a felony supervisor with younger lawyers sitting in front of the desk, in front of the table from her. Long hours at work. Many an evening, we sat in the office, we talked through cases, and I watched her educating, supporting, and nurturing young lawyers, all the while making sure that they were doing their jobs, tending to their responsibilities, and of course, as a Nigerian mother, making sure that when they needed to be corrected, they were corrected, firmly but gently. And so rest assured that Chiaka is going to exceed all expectations for the most fundamental and confidence-inspiring trait in a judge, work ethic. She's going to be there. She's going to be seen. She's going to be a judge by members of the bar, by litigants, by jurors and witnesses, day in and day out, putting in the hours and doing the hard work, doing the people's work, and inspiring confidence in our courts and in our government. And so we're so very fortunate to have Judge Ihekwaba, someone whose family has served as the wellspring of all that is important. That her life experiences will both contribute to her understanding our unique community and positively influence her work as a judge. So, in Judge Ihekwaba, we have someone blessed with life experiences that have produced a strong, dedicated, industrious, and informed jurist. And I am so very proud to count her as a friend and a colleague. And so to repeat what I said a couple of years ago about another dear friend who was appointed to the bench, friends and colleagues, the governor did a really good job with this appointment. And we got a really good one. And so to my friend, Your Honor, Godspeed. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Jose. And now for further personal remarks on behalf of the judge's family and friends, we have all the way from the UK, Ogechi Swaby, Judge Ihekwaba's sister.
Good afternoon, Chief Judge, judges, ladies and gentlemen, family, all the special people here today who come to help celebrate my sister's Investiture. It's a pleasure, an honor, and a privilege to have the opportunity to speak at my sister's investiture and tell you a bit about my sister Chiaka. My name is Ogechi Swaby, and I am the middle daughter of 3. Chiaka is my older sister, and I have another sister, Kay, sitting over there. Having Chiaka as an older sister was great for both of us. I believe she was destined to become an adjudicator, as she settled a few squabbles between my sister Kay and I. And she still does. She was very well known in our extended family and amongst her friends as a settler of disputes. I remember an occasion where I had a disagreement with one of my cousins, and of course we sought Chiaka out to settle the matter. I was feeling a bit smug because Chiaka's my sister, so obviously she must be on my side. And we went and sought her out, and then I'm sure you can see where the story is going. To my dismay, she started asking far too many questions for my liking. And my resorting to making faces and giving her the evil eye didn't help my case at all. So at the end of it all, obviously I didn't win the case. And I was fuming, thinking, where's your loyalty? But I didn't say anything to her. But in actual fact, I wasn't really surprised because Chiaka was very well known to being very fair. Hence, she was sought after so often for her to decide on issues that where people couldn't agree one way or the other. In her boarding school, she was in charge of her entire dormitory, which was made up of over 100 girls. She was given this position as a result of her ability to lead and adjudicate fairly across the spectrum of ages. It was therefore no surprise to anyone when she sought out a career in law. Chiaka is the best sister I could ever have. Well, I should prefix that with the best older sister. My sister Kay is pretty brilliant too. Or as you Americans would say, awesome. Chiaka's a natural nurturer. I have 1,000 examples that I can give to you, but suffice to say, she's always caring and makes time to listen to you and give you advice, check on you, encourage you, and it goes on, no matter what, or how busy her own life is. But as you all know, and lots of people have already said, she's a dedicated wife. She has 5 children, and she works full-time, which equates to a very busy life. But somehow she always has time for you and makes you feel precious and special. I always look forward to what I refer to as my time, which is about 10 to 15 minutes of her drive time to work. Because I can ring her, and she's hands-free, of course, safe. And I have that time dedicated to me where we can talk and we can laugh. And it's a lovely time of the day for me because I live really far away. I said I wasn't going to cry. My sister is my rock. She's the first person I call whenever I need someone to vent to, a shoulder to cry on, and also, most importantly, to get an honest opinion. She's always straight with you, and she could do with sugarcoating her opinion sometimes, but that's who she is. However, you always know it comes from a place of love. I went to live with Chiaka in London when I finished my first degree. I was really excited to live with her as it was my first time away from home. And Chiaka had moved to a new flat with 2 bedrooms to make sure I had a room of my own and wouldn't feel so homesick. It was years later that I discovered that she'd been invited to go to New York to start a modeling career around the time I was to come to England, and she'd given that up for me. This is who she is. She's always putting her loved ones first. I was ever so grateful, as I don't know how I would have managed without her. I am sure you're all glad that she didn't go down the modeling path, and we would not be here today. But however, I would have had a famous sister, and I would have been all right all the same. I've been going through a tough time in the last couple of years, and I don't know what I would have done without my sisters. Chiaka is, as usual, my rock, and I can't put into words how much her support and advice means to me. In her usual manner, she still finds time to be there for me, whatever the time, circumstances, whatever else is going on. Chiaka, I love you from the very bottom. I'm so proud to call you my sister, my friend, my rock star. You mean the world to me, and I'm so very proud of you. I know you are the best judge out there. I mean, no offense, I'm sorry. But my sister is amazing. And thank you for being you. And on behalf of my sister Kay, and my mom and dad who are watching virtually, we would like to say congratulations. You make us so, so proud. Keep being you. And thank you, everybody.
Tell me you can't listen to that accent all day long. Thank you so much, Ms. Swaby. Now for the oath of office and robing. I'd like to ask Judge Ihekwaba and her family to join me at the podium for the oath. Welcome back up, Paul and Nena and Ogechi, and welcome to the floor, Mr. Zeri Ihekwaba, the judge's husband, Didi, Alachi, and Chakoti, her daughters, Kechi Echebe, did I say that right? Yeah. I've been practicing. Her other sister, who we've already heard about, and via live stream from Nigeria, Judge Ihekwaba's parents, Christian and Abigail Anna. And let's go. We practiced this before and still it all falls apart at the moment. I swear I was tested this week on multiple tested. No coding here, not yet. Please raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Chiaka, Ihekwaba,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support, protect, and defend
the Constitution and government of the United States of America
the Constitution and government of the United States of America
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
that I am qualified to hold office
that I am qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
under the Constitution of the state of Florida,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of judge of the county court
the duties of judge of the county court
of the 11th Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida,
of the 11th Judicial Circuit of the state of Florida,
on which I am now about to enter.
on which I am now about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
So do you say it? I just start reading, you can say it.
Want me to introduce you?
It's up to you. All right. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm so used to this mask, I keep on forgetting. Oh, thank you, everybody. Chief Judge Saifi, my learned colleagues, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for being here. I honestly cannot believe that I am here, and I mean that literally. Not only because of the threat of Omicron, Delta, and all the variants of COVID-19 threatening to spoil this celebration, but as Jose said, more importantly, when I first moved to this country and this city a little over 25 years ago, I did not know a single soul apart from my newly married husband, Zeri, with whom I was about to embark on the next phase of my life. But now I look up and I see all of you, and I know there are so many people that are watching virtually, and I find it so amazing. So the question many people ask me is, how did I get here? And I want to tell you about my journey. My journey started in the United Kingdom, where I was born. My parents, Christian and Abigail Anna, a doctor and a nurse respectively, had sojourned to the United Kingdom to go to graduate school. We moved to Oxford in England, where I started elementary school by attending Headington Preparatory School. But I finished elementary school in Emoton Primary School in Benin City in Nigeria. This is after my parents, who had now completed their postgraduate studies in the UK, decided it was time for their children to get to know their homeland, Nigeria. Moving to Nigeria was an easy assimilation. As my parents always said, I settled in very quickly, eager to learn all I could learn about the Nigerian culture. I attended secondary school, which is middle and high school, at the Federal Government Girls College, Owerri, in Nigeria, where, like most kids growing up in Nigeria, I went to a boarding school. There, I learned the two most important things in Nigerian culture: discipline and respect. I thank the teachers and staff of that school because the skills I acquired at that time have stayed with me forever. I then attended the University of Benin in Benin City, Nigeria, where I started off as an undergraduate medical student. But after 2 years of medical school, I knew that wasn't for me. I changed course and became an undergraduate law student. While I was there, I learned how to overcome adversity, and that is where my official career path actually began. I graduated from University of Benin with my Bachelor of Laws degree and attended Nigerian Law School. In Nigeria, when you graduate from law school, you become a barrister at law, and then you get sworn in as a fully qualified attorney. I did that, and I felt I was on top of the world. However, after working for a 2-year period, I knew I wanted a bit more for myself. So I left Nigeria and I returned to England, the country of my birth. When I got there, I quickly attended King's College, University of London, where I obtained a master's degree in international business law. That is when I really felt on top of the world. But my plans to become an international attorney, crisscrossing the globe and going on private jets, it didn't quite pan out. So I've settled on becoming a clerk for administrative law judges, from where I moved to the Crown Prosecution Service and was assigned to the Thames Magistrate Division. As many of you know, the Crown Prosecution Service is the exact equivalent of the State Attorney's Office. And I believe that was where the prosecution bug bit me. I thank my Thames Division teammates, some of whom I know are watching by live stream. They really taught me the true definition of teamwork, especially Tina Wybrow and Arlinda Silva, who took me under their wing. In November 1996, I moved to Miami, a place, as I said, I didn't know anybody but my husband, Zeri. But we moved here with high hopes and lofty dreams for ourselves and the family we wanted to build. When I got here, I quickly learned that all my education didn't really mean too much. I had to go back and requalify. So I attended St. Thomas University, where I had to requalify as an attorney. I want to thank the entire faculty of St. Thomas University, especially Professor Alfredo Garcia and Professor Amy Ronner, who let me know that I had what it takes to be successful in this environment. Before my graduation and while working as a CLI, I interviewed for a job at the State Attorney's Office, and that is when I first met Kathy Fernandez-Rondon. Kathy, I really want to thank you so much because you did set me on the path to becoming a judge. I remember my interview with you. I was really nervous and I didn't know what to expect, but it's as if you saw that in me and put me at ease by talking about your experience in England. And before I knew it, you had me laughing and chatting away about a lot of things, making me forget I was actually there for an interview. And then, of course, the icing on the cake was you hired me. And that's how our relationship has been ever since. You were very supportive of me throughout my time there, not only with my work, but also with my personal life. I remember when I was pregnant with my twins. I don't know if you remember that, but I needed some extra help. Of course, as soon as I said twins, you immediately understood what I was going through, and you went out of your way to make things easy for me. And Kathy, you continue to support me in all I do. For this, I say a very big thank you. You also gave me the best work family with some of the best supervisors, mentors, and colleagues anyone could ask for. I want to thank them all, and I know some of my SAO colleagues are here, my former SAO colleagues. I loved my SAO family, but there are a few people that I want to give a personal shout out to, starting with my ex-supervisor, Jose Arrojo. Jose, let me tell you all, was the best supervisor anybody could ever ask for. He really allowed me to thrive and really brought out the best in me. Thank you, Jose. I'm so glad that we are friends because I know now that I will always have you close by, no matter the profession or no matter where I am. Thank you very much. I also want to thank Michael Von Zandt, Sandra Miller-Baptiste and the Public Corruption Unit, Sean Williams, and the entire organized crime unit led by Howard Rosen, who I know is here somewhere. Howard, thank you very much. I also have to give a special thank you to my next door office neighbor, Jessica Casso. I know Jessica Casso can't be here today, but I want to tell you all that Jessica had the office next to mine, and we used to communicate through the walls by banging on the walls. I can't see myself doing that now, but back then we did that. And Jessica would come to my office, and if she saw me and I was not smiling, she would whip out her cell phone, put on the music of Chiaka Khan, the musician, and she would stand at the doorway and sing and dance to that song until I smiled. She did that every morning I came in with a frown. So, of course, I could never come in not smiling at work. Thank you, Jessica. There's never going to be somebody else like you. My thanks also goes to my dear friend, Mary Jimenez. I know Mary Jimenez cannot be here today. But Mary, Shakia Burnham, Amy Driver, Ayana Duncan, and Christina Mills, and the rest of the domestic crimes unit, I spent a good amount of my time down there. Thank you guys very much for your friendship, your love, and your support. There was also somebody in that office who was a mentor to me, and in fact was more like a second mother. She's no longer with us today, but my joy is she was still around when I became a judge, and she was able to celebrate with me, and that lady is Sally Weintraub. Sally Weintraub taught me how to be a good prosecutor. She taught me about fairness and justice and remaining calm in the midst of a storm. And I tell you, at the State Attorney's Office, as you can imagine, there were quite a number of storms. She told me how proud she was of me, and I know that she will be smiling down from above today. Working at the State Attorney's Office was a team effort, and part of the team included the detectives and officers who worked with us and made our work easy. I worked with a great number of detectives, especially those from the Miami-Dade Police Department, the Homicide Unit, and I know that at least one or two of them are here today. I know Danny is here, Danny Aiken. Thank you, Danny, and all your colleagues. I'm very happy that with many of you, I have become friends for life. I want to thank you all, not only for your friendship and support, but for all the great work we did together. I want to thank Governor Ron DeSantis, Joe Jaco, and the rest of the Governor's General Counsel's office for my appointment. I also want to thank the members of the JNC for my recommendation. Walter Harvey, Robert Fernandez, Bob Pardo, David Axelman, Scott Diamond, Daniel Friedman, Jorge Mestre, Miranda Soto, and Hayden O'Byrne. Thank you very much for believing in me and nominating me. I am so glad to share the appointment anniversary with my dear friend, Judge Christina Rivera Correa, with whom I was appointed at the same time and with whom I now have a special bond. Speaking of special bonds, I also have a special bond with my fellow female judges of color. I cannot call us the Big Six because that title has already been taken. But Judge Brinkley, Judge Delancey, Judge Nelson, Judge Harris, and Judge Darrow, I'm honored to be in this group with you all. And I think I will call us the Powerful Six, as we have the power to make change and ensure that the increase in diversity in our circuit does not end with us, but we will continue to encourage others to join us together so that we present a true picture of what our community looks like. I think it's very important for people to see. I have to be honest and say that initially, I never thought I would become a judge. Not because I thought myself incapable of the job, but because I felt I was too different and not mainstream enough. It took a group of my friends who happened to be judges to convince me that my differences were needed and would be a good addition to the bench. They made it their mission to make sure I did everything I needed to do to put myself in the best possible position. And these judges were led by my dear friend and our Chief Judge, Nushin Sefi. I tell you all, not only is she an amazing Chief Judge, but she is a wonderful friend and someone who we would all want to have our back any time of the day. Nush, as I call her, thank you so much for your understanding, your guidance, your love, and your patience. I look forward to an amazing career with you alongside me. I also owe a great deal of thanks to Judge Della O, Judge Walsh, Judge Simon, Judge DiRamondo, Judge Wolfson, Judge Brinkley, our Chief Judge Emeritus, Judge Bertie Soto, and our third DCA Judge, Judge Fleur Lobry. Thank you all for the time you took with me and the guidance you gave me to embark on this journey. I appreciate each and every one of you very much, as well as all my other colleagues here who have supported me. Thank you. Since my appointment, I have been assigned to North Day Justice Center. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't care how far away that is or what anyone else says. I could not have gone to a better spot than the North Day Justice Center Civil Division. Judge Linda Singer-Stein, Judge Miriam Lair, Judge Natalie Moore, Judge Ayana Harris, along with my dear friend, Judge Maisha Darrow, who is not at the North Day, but I still regard her as one of us. I want to say thank you all very much. You all are amazing people, and I'm very honored to be working with you and to have you as my colleagues and friends because I know you will never let me go wrong. I have to also say a big thank you to my staff. Now, in my division, we are an all-female team, and we rock, I tell you. To Giselle, my JA, who is sitting over there, people say she is small, but let me tell you, she is mighty. And Freddie, my bailiff, who is my investigative reporter and who is also going to be a great attorney someday. I'm so happy we found each other. We do good work together. Thank you very much for all you do to make me look good. I look forward to many more years of success with you guys. My appointment came about with the help of very many people. There are far too many to mention. However, there are a few people that I need to give a special mention who went out of their way to support me and assist me in this journey, and they continue to do so. I want to recognize former Commissioner Mark Sanoff, who is sitting over there. Thank you very much. Miguel de la Portilla, Roland Sanchez Medina, Izzy Reyes, George Lopez, Jose Fuentes, Bayo Coca, Bat Okoro, Mark Bernard, Jamal Sowell, Bruce Fleischer, Rudy Ortiz, Milton and Joy Vickers, Hans Ottinot, Eduardo Vega, Antonio Acosta, Carlos Gilmera, and Vicky Lever. Thank you all very much for what you have done and what you continue to do for me. To my friends who have worked with me and supported me, I say a big thank you. If I start calling out all my friends, we'll be here till tomorrow. So I'm not going to do that. You know yourselves, and I know some of you are here today. Thank you very much. And there are also a group of my friends that are abroad but are watching on live stream. I thank you guys. I acknowledge you all, and I give you a special shout out. I also want to give you a special shout out to my friends that are known as the divas. I would normally call out their names, but I don't think I want anyone else to know that they are divas. So I am going to keep their names private, but some of them are in here, and you know yourselves. So without me calling you out, thank you, ladies, very much for your unconditional love and support during this journey. My Nigerian community. Now, a lot of people don't know that here in Miami, we have a large and tight-knit Nigerian community. And the members of this community, they are always quick to let me know how proud they are of me. Their support is never-ending, and for this, I am eternally grateful. Even though many of them cannot be here today, I want to express my thanks to them all for their support, but especially to the other members and some other friends who are here with me today, who have actually become part of my family. I want to thank Gladys and Dixon, Onye and Fente, Victor, Benson, and of course my dear friend Ebele. Thank you all so much for your support, but especially for taking the time out of your schedules to be here today and to continue to support me as I embark on my journey and my judicial career. I come from a very large extended family, as you heard my sister mention. There are far too many members for me to even tell you about. And of course, many of them are not here today. We are hoping that a good number of them are watching by live stream. I'm keeping my fingers crossed that they were all able to watch. I have some nieces and nephews that are here. Eze and Rima, thank you for coming all the way from Orlando. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Amara, for coming from Chicago. I really appreciate that as well. I'm glad you all are here to celebrate with me. I want to thank an uncle of mine. His name is Dr. Patrick Opara. He's 92 years old, and he's a retired attorney based in Baltimore, Maryland. He foresaw my being a judge even before I went to law school, and he did everything in his power to encourage me in this quest. When I got the appointment and happily told him, he went on to tell me, "Your work is not done. I want to see you become a justice of the U.S. Supreme Court in my lifetime." Ladies and gentlemen, he's 92 years old. Well, somehow, I don't see that happening. But to my uncle, I just want to say, I am glad I was able to make your original dream come true. Thank you for being there for me and encouraging and supporting me along the way. My parents, Christian and Abigail Anna, could not be here today, but I know they are watching on live stream. I had the best parents anybody could wish for. My parents taught my siblings and I said I wouldn't cry, that the best legacy they could give us was education. And with that, we could reach for the stars. They provided a shining example for us to follow and paved the way to give us as comfortable a life as they could provide. I owe my success today to that foundation they laid, and they continue to support and encourage me every step of the way. There are not enough words for me to say thank you both for everything. All I hope is that I continue to make you proud of who I have become. My sisters, Oge and Kay, are both here today, and you have met. At least Oge and Kay is also over there. Oge and Kay, I hope you know, I would not have my life any other way. I see us three as the real Charlie's Angels. I can't imagine my life without both of you by my side. You are both the pillars that prop me up and support me when I'm down. We overcame adversity with the death of our brother Chukwuma, who I know is smiling down from above. And I believe that has made our everlasting bond even stronger. I thank you for being my amazing sisters who ask no questions and always come to my aid no matter what is asked of you. I love you both very much. To my husband, Zeri, my rock of Gibraltar, you and I know that I would not be here without you. And I know that there are many of you sitting here who would not be here without him. That's okay, I don't mind. Zeri is my loudest cheerleader and my greatest supporter. He may look like he's behind the scenes, but for me, he is forever steering the ship. I am so grateful that I get to share my life and this journey with such an amazing guy. I love you very much, and I'm excited for us to see together what the future brings. Ladies and gentlemen, you have heard it times without number now, and I'm sure you all know that I have 5 amazing kids. Let me tell you, some people are born into certain things, but for me, I believe I became complete when I became a mother. To my kids, Didi, Olachi, Chikodi, Nena, and Paul, you are the joy of my life. I thank God for giving me the opportunity to show you what can be achieved with hard work, confidence, and belief in yourself. I hope you are all inspired to reach for the stars and be whatever it is you want to be without letting anybody tell you otherwise. I thank you for supporting me and not complaining even when this journey encroached on our time together. And ladies and gentlemen, it did. I love you guys very much, and I look forward to celebrating each and every one of you as you embark on your own individual journeys. In wrapping up, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to being the best judge that I can be, and to also attend many more investitures involving people with traditional paths as well as those with non-traditional paths just like mine. I have told you my journey, which is rather different from most journey paths, but that was the point, to show that we can all go down different paths but get to the same destination. That is what living in Miami is all about, giving each of us the opportunity to have our own unique story. All we need are the right people to guide us the right way, and I had those people. I hope that you all have yours. Thank you all very much for being here and listening to my story. I know I may have missed out many people to thank, and many names, but I want you to know, for you to be sitting here in this room or watching on live stream, it means you are very important to me. I hope you all remember that. Thank you, everyone, and Happy New Year. Perfect.
Before we wrap up, I neglected, and I don't know why, they're the 2 people I actually knew for sure were going to be here. Christina Mills, who's here representing the League of Prosecutors. Christina, there she is in the back. And also Diana Artiaga, who I actually spoke with, from representing the Cuban American Bar Association. My apologies to both of them. Thank you for being here. Judge Ihekwaba, it's my pleasure and such a thrill to welcome you to our Miami bench. It was almost exactly 2 years ago when you were applying to the Judicial Nominating Commission. And yes, I had been bugging her. She made it sound like it went faster, but I feel like I was bugging you for a long time that you should apply to become a judge. And I think I was probably happier than anyone when you finally said that you wanted to do it. When I actually got to look at her application, and I had already known you at that point, probably, 15 years or more, I was completely blown away that they want to take your mask off. Photo ops. Hopefully neither one of us ends up with COVID tomorrow morning. But her application was so impressive. I mean, even to have seen her and known her in court, I was a public defender when I met Chiaka and she was an ASA. I was completely just mind blown. And I think that's, as diverse as Miami is, it is so beautiful to just be in this room and see the diversity here. You don't see that in other places, but even amongst the diverse, Chiaka's application was really just fascinating and so impressive. So meeting you at the REG courthouse is always going to be one of the blessings of my life. I remember that early, I think I met you before you were pregnant with the twins, and then you were pregnant with twins. I also have twins, and I also have an older daughter, so I thought, oh, you know, I'm knocking it out of the park as a mom. How many other kids do you have, Chiaka? Because I have one, before I had my twins, and she said she already had 3 kids, and I almost fainted in the hallway of the REG. And then in the years since, she was Judge DeLo's division chief, and my office was right there, and she'd come in, and we'd always start a conversation, I think talking law, but it always gravitated towards kids, and I feel like that's honestly, as much as we share the law and the building, we share motherhood, and she has one of her daughters that actually is now friends with my daughter in New York, and the joys, I will say, of Alachi and Jana have definitely bonded us. The joys and the sometimes less than joys, but everything everyone has said about you is true. You always have had a smile on your face. I think that no matter what was going on, I would look at you, I would listen to your voice. There was something that instantaneously has always calmed me down when I've spoken with you. And when I think about your calm and your grace, I'm so grateful to Miami-Dade County, or for Miami-Dade County, that you are now going to be in the People's Court, and your voice is going to be the calm, beautiful, thoughtful and intelligent, and the voice that these people are going to see and hear. They're going to see you. You are going to be an example to all the young people out there who get to see you on the bench. But more than anything else, you're going to be bringing justice to people in such a beautiful, measured way. And so on behalf of all of Miami-Dade County, I can say welcome. On behalf of your brothers and sisters on the bench, welcome. You have already hit the ground running. You're doing a great job. And ladies and gentlemen, court is now in recess. If you'd like to greet Judge Ihekwaba and her family, please come and join them here on your right. And that's it. On behalf of all of the judges of the 11th Judicial Circuit of Florida, welcome back to the DCC. It is alive and well, as we all are. And court is now in recess. Thank you so much.
You want me to come that way?
Oh. Where?
Oh, Lucian here.